Hi, welcome to another episode of Inquiring Minds with Donna Carlin and Steve Harper. I am Steve Harper, and with me as always is Donna Carlin. Donna, how are you doing today?
I'm great and really looking forward to this conversation.
This is going to be a fun
How are
one.
you
I'm pretty
doing?
excited about this one. What are
Yep,
we
I
talking
think
about today?
everybody's going to relate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Even if they don't, I'm going to relate. I guarantee you. So I'm ready. Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's dive in.
Okay, so the question is, are you responsible for others or to others?
This one is interesting because it's a tough one. For me, it's like yes. You know? I think it's a little bit of both, right? And I don't know if that's necessarily my parent or my spouse side coming out saying I'm kind of, I'm of two minds there, or as a boss, I kind of feel like I'm sort of stuck in the middle there. I'm curious what your perception is of that question and sort of how you relate it to your work and to the clients that you serve.
I actually do a responsibility matrix with my clients. So it's the reality check that everybody needs to remember. And I look at it for myself regularly, believe it or not. I am responsible to the people in my life, not for them.
Yeah.
And I'm not responsible for anybody other than if I had an infant, which I haven't had in a long time, or if I had somebody who was disabled and needed my help, or an elderly parent who couldn't make informed decisions. And thankfully, my mother is amazing, so I don't have to worry about that. And these are important questions to have because we feel often, especially as parents, that we're responsible for the choices that our kids make. And we're not. We're responsible to them to be the best possible parent we could be, but not for their feelings, thoughts, actions, any of that. And once we differentiate that and realize even at work, we're responsible to our employees to make sure that they could be the best they could be and do the best that they could do, not for their work. And I know there's going to be a lot of pushback for
Yeah.
managers saying that I am responsible for my employees' work. You were responsible to hire the best person for the job. It's their responsibility to honor their commitments that they made when they took on that job, and for you to be able to lead them to be able to do that.
So sticking with that scenario for a second, as a manager, let's say I'm a mid-level manager, and I'm hearing that, and I'm partially agreeing, right? But I'm saying, well, but wait a second, Donna. Yes, I was responsible for bringing the right people in and making sure I had the right people in the right positions, and I provided them all the skills and all the tools and resources necessary to be successful at their job. Yet my boss above me is looking for the output of them or the department. And so by essence, am I not responsible for what they're doing on a daily, weekly, quarterly basis? And that end result, how do you differentiate and what's the trap that I'm catching myself in as a mid-level manager with that way of thinking?
I am responsible. I'm taking on that role right now.
Mm-hmm.
I am responsible for honoring my commitments as that manager, which is to make sure that everybody's, gets their work in on time, that it's, decent quality, all of that, that I'm able to address issues that pop up, all of that. That's my responsibility for myself. I'm responsible to my people to make sure, just like you said, they have the tools, the resources, and everything that they need, that they have the language to use. So if they're delayed, they give me a heads up, not 5 minutes before deadline, but well before, so that I can give them whatever support they need. I'm not responsible for them slacking off, for them being angry about a specific situation. I'm responsible to them to help them resolve it. There's the difference.
Yeah.
The minute I become responsible for somebody's feelings, thoughts, actions, I'm disempowering them.
Hmm. That's a really interesting perspective. So if you got the pushback that said, well, but I'm now the manager over you as the mid-level, but your team's results are not where they need to be. So the instant thought process I would think is that mid-level manager is automatically you're assuming back to that for role, right? That I'm responsible for what they did or didn't do. So how do you overcome that way of thinking? And then ultimately, how do you, defend or alter perception based on their performance?
Well, I'm going to tap into our previous conversation and look at the language that we use.
Yeah.
That's the key. It's to say this didn't work. We screwed up. Speak to the team involved in the screw up to say, let's look at what went wrong and let's look how we make sure it doesn't happen again. And the message to the uppermost, to my boss is to say, we did a review. This is where we screwed up. This is what we're doing to mitigate it so it doesn't happen again. So we are taking responsibility for our actions, thoughts, all of that to address something that didn't work before.
Yep.
So it's not making
but with
excuses.
your perception in mind, right? Your perspective as that manager in mind.
That's right. Exactly right. I'm responsible to my boss. I'm responsible to my team to give my highest and best contribution. That's all I could do.
Yep.
The minute I start being responsible for everyone else, and I see a lot of managers doing that, it's unbelievable. They'll be working evenings and weekends, rewriting what their team wrote, saying that it wasn't good enough quality, and rather than address the quality that they were getting from their team and helping them up their game, they were having to do double the work because they had to do it over.
Yep. I just had a scenario like this with a client of mine that was running through the exact same situation where she was going back and, doing additional work for the people that she had doing a project for her. And it wasn't that the work was not done to her level of acceptance, yet she didn't feel compelled enough to stop them, take the corrective action to show them how it needed to be done. She just went ahead and did it. And she said, I should have just done it from the very beginning. It's like, no, that was the wrong tactic. Number one, you're causing yourself more work. Number two, if you're going to do it anyway, why do you need them? Right. And number three, how much stress did you put on them and, ultimately yourself by, basically showing that you don't value their output. And even if the output is not where you want it to be, you're not telling them why or how they fix it.
One of the things I suggest actually is that the manager sit with the staffer who's not writing well or doing the work well enough and actually co-create something in real time with not the manager showing an example, starting off with the staffer doing the work and the manager helping them course correct and showing them what excellence looks like while they're doing it. The lesson is so profound, and the best part is when I don't have time to do that. So I said to them, you don't have time to do it right, but you have time to do it over. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, I get what you're saying.
I like that.
Take the time to do it, and it's an incredible learning experience because you're going to hear how that person thinks as to what's important and what isn't. And that person's going to hear, this is what excellence looks like, and it's not so hard to tweak and up my game.
Yep. Oh, that's good. Well, and so that's the corporate environment. Let's switch gears for just a second and take it into maybe our more informal environment, like our personal, even our professional networks to a certain degree, right? I think that same sense of responsibility when you look at, whether it's your best friend who's really struggling to find a job or that one client that you had that is now looking to do something completely different and they're coming to you for that guidance, that same 2 and 4, dilemma tends to creep into those environments as well. So how can you be cognizant of that when it's occurring? And how do you provide that value back to that individual in the same level you would as a business leader, but to help someone that might be in a situation like a job change or maybe going through a divorce or some sort of personal crisis so that you don't end up owning that situation, like you would if you were doing it for them. But you're helping them in a way that's proactive to, be there and be a good friend or be a good colleague. But at the end of the day, still keep a little bit of that perspective and, still deliver the best possible outcome.
You know what? I'm going to share a story with you about something that happened at home. because I really think it would be beneficial, and it also translates to the question that you just asked me. Years ago, when my son was finishing up high school, he also underwent 4 very long surgeries. So he was doing a lot of homeschooling, and his friends would come over to study with him. And so I think my son was about 17 at the time, and he was up with one of his best friends up in his room, and they were just fooling around. And I was downstairs, and I heard them fooling around. We have wood floors; you could hear everything, on your head. And their door was open, a crack in the bedroom. So I went upstairs, and as I'm walking up the stairs, I hear Michael's friend say to him, "Uh-oh, we're in trouble." And Michael said, "No, my mother's just going to ask us some questions." And, Brad said to him, "What?" And he says, "You'll see." Now, they didn't know I heard this, which is what I was going to do anyway. So I knock on the door, and,
Yep.
Michael said, "Come in." And, Brad's waiting for the other
Here it
shoe to
is.
fall,
Yep,
right?
here
So
it
I
comes.
said to him, "Are you making the best use of your time?" Silence. Michael looks at Brad and goes, "See?"
There you go.
And Brad goes, "You're not going to scream at us?" I said, "Why should I scream at you?" So he said, "We're not making the best use of our time." I said, "So why should I scream at you?" And he said, "My mother would kill me by now." So I said to him, "Let's be very clear here. This is your future that you're going to screw up, not mine. And what you do right now is going to influence what happens in your future. So you're either going to make decisions that are going to benefit your future or decisions that aren't going to benefit. When it comes to Michael, he can't do physical manual labor. It's not going to happen. So he's got to hone his brain. And that means maybe it's something different than you. Your choice. But it's up to you to be responsible for the choices that you make." And he said to me, "Could you talk to my mother?" I said, "No, but you can." And he started laughing. He said, "I'm going to." Now, fast forward, he's got a couple of kids, and he's raising his kids like that by literally helping them be responsible for the choices they make. Whether it's the clothes they put on in the morning, sometimes they don't match. They're all over the place. They love them. They chose them. They're going to wear them. It's really quite amazing how, as young as they could be, they're making choices as soon as they are cognizant of what choices bring to their lives. Help them make good choices and be responsible for themselves. I could tell you my son's going to be 41 years old, which still blows me away. And, I still have the conversations with him as to, what is working and what isn't working. How are you thinking? I want to know how he thinks. I'm not going to tell him he should do something or shouldn't do something. And I really believe that we need to look at that, whether a friend is looking for a job and we know that job is just not the best job for them. How do we help them see it without knocking them down and knocking all the air out of them?
Yep.
Why are they making those decisions? How are they responsible for the choices they're making for themselves?
Yep. No, I love that. And what a great story and a beautiful way to kind of cap this off, which is, helping lead people without pushing them, right? And, helping guide and direct them to make the right decisions, the right calls, but then recognizing that you're responsible to them, but not necessarily for them. And you can sometimes lead that horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And if you push from behind, it often kicks. So it's never a good thing, right? So, I just love how you wrap that up, because that just really ties the whole thing up with a pretty little bow, doesn't it?
Just remember that if you're responsible for someone, you're not only responsible for their failures, you're responsible for their successes, and it's not theirs anymore because it's your choices.
That's true. That's a very
totally
valid point.
disempowering. Yeah.
Yep. I love that. Well, tell our audience or our viewers, if we happen to have viewers on YouTube seeing this video or listening to the podcast, how they can get in touch with us so that they can, give us their thoughts on this episode and potentially other topics they'd like us to talk about on Inquiring Minds.
We're on social media all over the place. For me, it's LinkedIn is what I'm on most often. Twitter as well. Twitter is _shadow coach. What is yours?
Mine is at Ripple On, and you can find me as Steve Harper on LinkedIn.
And my website is donnacarlin.com. And yours?
And mine is ripplecentral.com. So, very simple to find. You can find us anywhere you look, pretty much.
That's right.
Well, Donna, this has been a lot of fun. Another great topic to dive into. And I feel like every time we do these episodes, I'm learning so much from you and just the perspective that you bring to the table. And I'm so grateful to be doing this with you.
Same here. I'm learning through you, through the questions you ask. It's really important. Thanks.
Well, you're welcome. And we look forward to everybody joining us for another episode of Inquiring Minds very soon. Bye-bye for now.
Have a good one.
That was good. I think those are 3 solid ones.
Yeah, I think they're all good.
All right. Well, what I'll do is I'll get them edited. It'll probably be this weekend before I can get to them. If I get some time on Friday, I'll get it done. But I mean, you're able to get, because I uploaded the videos for those other episodes, you're able to download them if you wanted them, right? From YouTube because you're an administrator?
Why would I download them? I linked to them.
Okay, you're just linking to them. I didn't know if you were going to upload them anywhere else or put them anywhere else, but that's right, because you're actually just doing the Facebook Premiere. I was thinking you download them to put them there because they can be Premiere videos there, but I think you're just doing the Premiere and the link to the YouTube channel, right? That's what we did for this one?
Yeah. Do you want me to do
No, it's another step because it takes forever to upload these things. So, to download it, then upload it to Facebook, and it only works about half the time on Facebook. So I think that's the better way to go.
What, to do the link to
the way you did it yesterday?
Yeah.
I think that's the way to go.
So I set them all up. Once I get the new ones, I set them all up to schedule. Now, my question to you is, should I schedule them to be posted beforehand or at the 1 o'clock mark?
Well, here's the thought. And I read an article about this, that YouTube likes to be its only, likes to be the only view place. And even though we're sending the link, what I was wondering is if we should premiere it at YouTube, let them have it for a period of time, right? Couple hours, and then do the Facebook premiere like maybe 4 or 5, 6 hours later, because you're catching a different audience and they're different types of users that are on those platforms, right? So I'm wondering if we spread the release out, even though the podcast and YouTube go up at noon or 1 o'clock your time, if we don't try the Facebook premiere maybe later in the evening, just to see if we catch
I'll just post it and it'll send them over to YouTube.
Mm-hmm. But we'll be able to actually see if we get any clicks or tracks or likes or anything on that. But we'll catch people when they're at home and a little bit more social and maybe, more inclined to click on something they see that's premiering. I don't know. It's just a thought. I mean, we can leave it the way it is for the time being, but maybe at some point might be worth, just doing a little test to see if we get any different take rate.
So for the next 2, this was number 3, right?
Uh-huh.
That's going to go up? No,
this was 2
more.
Yeah, so we've got a total of 5 in the can total. 2 premiered, 3 in the can.
So the 3 that are coming up, I'm going to reschedule to be posted at 5:30 or 6 o'clock.
Yeah
And see what happens. So it'll go there. It'll take them with the link to the YouTube so they could watch it there.
Yep.
And so I'll do that for the next 3.
Okay.
And we'll see if there's a change.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right.
And after it's launched, then I'll post something about it on LinkedIn and everything else.
Yeah, and I actually think LinkedIn is fine if we want to do it somewhat close to when we do the YouTube, because you're going to get more of the business audience during the business day. Facebook, I think we might get more of a take rate at night. So, I think how you're doing it on LinkedIn works perfectly. So I'm going to try and do the same.
Sounds like a plan.
Awesome. Well, I'll get these cut up and edited and I'll get them uploaded and let you know when they're there. So if you do the graphics, just send them over and then I'll just do that at one fell swoop.
Yep, I'll do the graphics and the blurb.
All right.
And away we go.
2 weeks maybe from today, we could do the same time if that works for your schedule.
Let me just go to my calendar as we speak, because I think I did a standing thing month. So inquiring minds, I'm going to delete this one for the 9th because you're away, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Delete this event. Goodbye, Charlie. Okay, that's gone. And we have the 16th, so I want you to know that is the only thing that I'm doing the whole day.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's booked in regularly. We could always change it when it doesn't work.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because after that, I'll be able to do the 23rd. I'd be able to do the 30th as well. And then I will likely be on a plane on the 7th. I mean, actually July, we're going to have quite a few in the hopper by that point. So July is going to be a little iffy until the end anyway, because I've got some travel. But yeah, right now we'll by that point, we'll have at least, especially if we do 2 or 3 every time we're meeting up on Wednesday, we're going to have quite a few that'll take us all the way through the summer.
And I'll keep adding some as it occurs to me to the document, like some suggestions. And what I did was I put the ones on the top that we've actually covered, and I'm numbering them. So that'll be good. A quick question. How's your dad?
Good. I actually, that's where I'm going next week. He's got 2 doctor's appointments I need to take him to. So I'm going to, see him I go out next Tuesday, and he's got a ultrasound on Wednesday, and then another heart follow-up, I think, on the Friday. But he's doing pretty good. We're dealing with a fair amount of family drama thanks to my sister, but we'll get through it. It's just, I'm trying not to let it bother me as much. She's going back up there this week. My other sister was with him last week, and she ended up leaving early because he was just not real kind to her. Frustrating. So I don't know how much of it was her taking it more personal than she needed to, or if it was really that bad. But he's getting by. He's doing well. The neighbors are checking on him, and he's we've got cameras in his house, so I can see all the things that he's doing, and stay in touch with him pretty regular. So he's been in good spirits every time I've talked to him. So
good.
Yeah.
Well, tell him or give him a humongous hug for me.
I will. Absolutely. Yeah, he knew about the you being on my podcast, but he doesn't know about this show. I'm saving it for him so we can queue up these episodes so he can see them. So he'll be excited.
I don't know if you even want to do this, but once you're visiting him, if he wants to do like a Zoom call, for me to call and say hello.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, that would be fun. Yep, that would be great. Yeah, we'll definitely have to make that work.
Okay.
All right. Good. Well, you take care, and if you need anything, just holler at me.
Same here.
All right. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.